Hello and welcome to Hashtag Off the Record, a special Project Offbeat series specifically catered for casual convos with our guests. We do this so we can get to know them beyond their careers, the human behind the job. Expect pressing talk of the town questions and fun challenges. If you haven't listened to the episode on Wilson Flores' path, we highly suggest you to start there first. In today's segment, we are joined by renowned newspaper columnist Wilson Flores. Welcome to the show.
Yes, hi, Matt and Lance.
Okay, Uncle Wilson, so now we're moving to our big questions portions, no? And
Yes.
we want to thank our sponsor, Narawood and Watches, for sponsoring this segment of the show where we ask our guests some pressing talk of the town questions that people wanted to know and ask about our guests, okay? So
Yes.
there might be some controversial big questions
No
here,
problem.
but handang-handa dito si Uncle Wilson for
Yes.
sure. Okay, number one question, Uncle Wilson. No? Since 2015, you've led the Kamuning Bakery in celebrating the World Pandesal Day, every October 16. Alam
Yes.
mo, we were so curious, Uncle Wilson, what is it about pandesal, that makes it, the name of your bakery, and I think it's probably Philippines' most popular bread. Bakit
Yes.
Kamuning Bakery? Bakit Pandesal Forum? What is it with this bread specifically?
Thank you for that interesting question. When I bought and revived Kamuning Bakery Cafe, this started in 1939, years ago. I researched about our most popular product, which is pandesal. I thought it came from Spain kasi Spanish name pandesal, di ba? I researched in Latin America, all this research, Google, everything. There's none in Latin America. There's no pandesal in Spain. So I realized pandesal is unique to the Philippines. It's like sinigang, whatever. It's like carabao. It's like sampaguita. It's very unique to the Philippines. So I realized one more thing. Every October 16, UNESCO has a holiday, unofficial, called World Food Day. There's World Food Day and also World Bread Day, celebrated in Europe and other countries, not too much in the Philippines. So I thought World Bread Day, normal, ordinary lang yan. So why not I make it World Pandesal Day? Kasi it's the most popular bread of the Philippines. And why Pandesal Forum? There were some UP professors of politics went to me before years ago and told me, Wilson, we'd like to do a media forum at Kamuning Bakery. Can you help us organize it? Can you help the media by inviting the media? And can you be the moderator? So linagay nila doon, kapihan. They put a streamer behind us. Kapihan at Pandesal sa Kamuning. Ang haba ng name ng forum. It was two sessions of a forum, na haba-haba ng name, and we talk about elections. They were analyzing it. I was asking questions. I invited the media. And then after the two sessions na yan, I went to an art exhibit. Senator Grace Poe was cutting the ribbon. After cutting the ribbon, she walked around and saw me. Sabi niya, "Uy, Wilson, I saw you on TV. I like your Pandesal Forum. Imbitahin mo ko to talk there." So that's where the name came from. I said, Senator, I've been wanting to do my own media forum. That thing that phrase you just mentioned, Pandesal Forum, I will use that. By mistake, the only thing she remembered from that long name, nakalagay doon sa likod Kapihan at Pandesal sa Kamuning Forum. She only remembered two words, Pandesal and Forum. So I use it. It's a nice, catchy name. It symbolizes the informal character of the forum. It's the Pandesal Forum is celebrities, leaders, and newsmakers breaking bread, drinking coffee with media and intellectuals.
Ang ganda nga, Wilson. Like, when you think Pandesal Forum, ikaw lang talaga yung may ganun Parang, I mean, it is so defamiliarizing. It's so unfamiliar where someone puts pandesal and media together. So I think, interesting na, Pandesal Forum is associated with you. Thank you, Uncle Wilson.
Thank you.
I think it's also kind of very symbolistic kasi Pandesal parang pangmasa siya. Tapos you have
Yes.
to
Tama.
you bring in these high officials, 'di ba? Parang
In a
galing rin.
informal setting.
Oo,
Hindi siya
informal
5-star
setting.
hotel setting.
Mm-mm.
And we talk about, you'd be surprised, we have foreign ambassadors talking at Pandesal Forum. USA
Grabe, no?
ambassadors, dalawa, a China ambassador, the British ambassador, 2 Russian ambassadors. Interesting.
Uncle Wilson, tingin nyo, bakit yung mga high-profile politicians na to or celebrities, why are they willing to do a forum in a bakery compared to, you know, the likes of Hyatt Hotel, di ba? Or, di ba, magsa-set up sila ng mga press, di ba, invite journalists, di ba? Bakit sa isang bakery, why would they consider that?
I think the charm and the attraction of Kamuning Bakery is it's an ordinary person's bakery. It's not a high-end bakery. It's not a 5-star luxury hotel. In fact, during the last election, if you notice, I could not forget that part of there were 3 or 4 presidential candidates that suddenly went to a 5-star luxury hotel during Easter Sunday. And I could not forget one of the media persons, a journalist, stood up there and asked this very unique question, out-of-topic question. Alam mo, tinanong, "Sir, we have a question. There's a typhoon in the province. A lot of people are suffering. Why did you choose this luxury 5-star hotel to do this press con here?" Nainis yung dalawang presidential candidate. One of them said, "I don't want to answer that question." The other said something else. Kasi I was thinking, for a politician, all the more nice to be seen in an ordinary man's everyday type setting. We are not only ordinary bakery, we are historic. We are very Filipino in character. So I think it has its own unique charm.
Ganda. Mas reachable sila kapag nasa Kamuning sila.
Hindi elitist.
Exactly.
Hindi elitist. Opposite siya of elitist.
Exactly.
Speaking of history, back in your university days, we mentioned already that you founded and you were the first president of an org called Ateneo Celadon. So Ateneo Celadon is an org that promotes better appreciation of Chinese culture. And this hits close to home, as we mentioned. Lance and I met there actually in college.
Very good.
So, and from time to time, we've actually encountered you. Parang you've been invited to revisit and go back to events, especially the annual Spring Film Festival. In what ways, I guess, do you see the org play a role in society today? And
thank you very much for that.
Also a personal angle, no? Why do you continue to invest time in the org to go back to revisit?
I think the good thing about this org, especially now in the Philippines, it helps open our eyes to Chinese culture, the importance of it and values, especially now in the 21st century, when everybody in the world knows China is the rising economic superpower. We in the Philippines should benefit from this amazing phenomenon. This is unparalleled opportunity for the Philippines. We are in Asia. We are neighbors with this ancient civilization, and it has wonderful things to offer to us, not only business, not only as a huge export market, not only as the largest tourism market, but also it has a lot of cultural things we can learn from. And it reminds us, Matt and Lance, that we are Asians. Because in the Philippines, unfortunately, we are one of the most westernized countries in Asia. Why did I say unfortunate? It's not bad to be westernized, but we have lost a lot of our Asian character and sensibilities in the Philippines sometimes. We have forgotten that we are Asians. So reminding us about Chinese culture, a lot of Filipino cultural traits and values are Chinese in nature or in origin, from our foods to our culture. So I think it has helped. I think Celadon is a good organization to promote better understanding of Chinese culture, which is important to the Philippine future. Not only about our past, not only about Philippine history, Philippine past, because before the Spaniards came, the Chinese have been coming here for centuries, peacefully, nonstop, trading and doing a lot of good things here. Also, it's a good way to improve our future in the Philippines, personally and as a society.
Actually, Uncle Wilson, in our last episode, we talked to cultural historian Richard Chu, no?
Yes,
very
my friend also.
Oh, everyone's your friend, Uncle Wilson.
Yes, he's my friend.
Yeah,
he used to be in Ateneo.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And he specializes in studying Chinese history and Chinese culture. And we also asked him the same question, and we want to also throw it to you, Uncle Wilson.
Yes.
With the way, Filipinos see Chinese today, 'di ba? Parang naku, yan yung taga-agaw ng mga Spratlys, yan yung mga Pogo, yan yung mga sasakupin tayo next time, binenta na yung bansa natin, 'di ba? What's your take on this? Is it something that question. We could, is it really a stigma right now, or is there some other way that we can shed light to this as Filipino Chinese ourselves?
Yes, it's a great question. I always think about this way. I kept telling people, what is the history of the Philippines with regards to foreign countries? Ano ang nangyari sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, yung encounters ng Pilipinas with foreign countries? I will enumerate. In 1521, when the Spaniards came, what did they do? They had battles. They waged war against the Philippines, took over the Philippines, actually stole the country, colonized the Philippines, and enriched themselves. Not only free resources, forced labor, everything, even killed our national hero, who was only a writer. He did not even bear arms. He was a doctor and a writer. Then what about the British? When the British came here in the 1700s, briefly for a few years only, they also waged war. They colonized the country for a few years and then left now after they lost. What was the other foreign encounter of the Philippines? USA. When USA came here, we already forgot about it. Philippines was the first Vietnam War of America. They came here 1898 when the Philippines, we were already winning the battle for independence. We were winning na. Then suddenly they stole it from us. They stole it from the Philippines and grabbed the country. And kunyari, nagbayad sa Castilla. And then they waged war pa a few years to suppress the rebellion. Hundreds of thousands died. And colonized the Philippines also. Got the riches of the country, mining, everything. What was the last one, the foreign encounter? Japan. The 1941 December, they came here. They attacked the Philippines on the day of the Immaculate Conception holiday of the Catholic Church, and then grabbed the country, colonized, war. 1 million people died during that time. And then what about the encounter of the Philippines with the Chinese people? For more than 1,000 years, what did the Chinese do here? They gave us siopao, siomai, mami. In 1,000 years, no colonization, no stealing of the country. So yun ang dinasabi to people, and they always laugh when I tell them this. We should put everything in perspective and look at the Philippines from a long-term view. We should look from the 1,000 years ago, and that's the future of the Philippines for the next 500-600 years. The Chinese people have been coming to the Philippines hundreds of years before the other foreigners came here. We have always been peaceful, consistently, always bottom line, negosyo lang. Bottom line, business through the years, anywhere in the world. So we should think of it that way. We are actually relatives, we are neighbors. And one more thing I keep telling people, there's a proverb, I don't know if it's a Bible proverb or it's a Tagalog proverb, mas importante ang kapitbahay natin kaysa malayong kamag-anak.
Exactly.
More important to be in good terms and friends with your neighbor than with a very far relative. If there's a fire, if you have a relative with a heart attack, you knock on the door of your neighbor. You get help from your neighbor, not from your relative 100 miles away, 100 kilometers away.
Natanda ko tuloy, Uncle Wilson, may mga iba akong kaibigan. They say, pag sinakop tayo ng China, siguro ligtas kayong mga Chinese Filipino o mga Chinoy.
Yes.
But I tell them, honestly, I'm closer to the Philippines than China. So, syempre.
Yes, very, very good. Just another answer I would tell them. That's almost impossible. They will want to even imagine to take over the Philippines kasi ang layo natin. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense kasi do you know why? I tell people with a sense of history and geography, the most logical place they should take over if they want to, but they don't have a history of colonizing people, is Russia. Russia stole, ninakaw in the 19th century, maybe 1 million square kilometers of land. The whole Siberia, oil-rich, mineral-rich yan, all the way to Port Arthur, which is now Vladivostok. All of that was Chinese territory. Yun ang dapat logical, physically, and logical in terms of logic to grab if you really want to grab territory.
Exactly.
Philippines is so far away by sea, it doesn't make sense to grab. It's a long story. In fact, the islands now we have some issues with are actually not Philippines, China lang. It's actually Philippines and Vietnam also. It's actually Philippines and Malaysia.
Multiple countries, Yeah.
Multiple countries claiming it. But personally, I think the sea is owned by the whole world. Let us share. The sea should unite us instead of divide us.
A little something that our listeners might not know about you is that you're involved with erecting monuments to great teachers and heroes, like Confucius and Dr. Jose Rizal.
Yes, ang galing mo mag-research, ha?
Thank you. Well, yes. I guess what Lance and I were wondering is, did you see an interconnectedness between Chinese heroes or Chinese leaders, philosophers, and our Philippine heroes, Dr. Jose Rizal? Is there like similarities that you see between them?
I admire both. That's why, because I love history a lot. So I suggested before, when I discovered that Jose Rizal had a Chinese immigrant ancestor, that actually the family name is Kua, C-U-A, in Hokkien. In Mandarin, it's Ke. I kept on suggesting to the Chinese authorities, the embassy in the Philippines. I even wrote columns in Philippine Star and even in Inquirer before, na sana they build a monument in Fujian, China, like other foreign countries have built monuments to Rizal. You go to Germany, you go to Spain, even in the US, there are some memorials to Jose Rizal. But sabi ng Chinese authorities, the diplomats told me, it's unprecedented. We don't usually build monuments to foreign heroes. It's not the practice in China. But I said, no, Rizal is not totally foreign. He's actually descendant of a Chinese immigrant na research ko, luckily, with the help of an uncle, the exact village where he came from, which is somewhere in Fujian province. Somehow they erected a nice monument to Jose Rizal. Later on, when I was chairman of Anvil Business Club, I proposed naman, why not we build to reciprocate in a way, build a monument naman to Confucius in the Chinese Garden of Rizal Park. It's not only Chinese culture, it's universal respect for all teachers. My mother was a teacher. I was a teacher also for a few years. I respect teachers kasi. So I suggested that, and we erected this granite monument, donated it to Rizal Park. It's Anvil Business Club's contribution to Philippine culture, Philippine tourism, and hopefully encourage the Philippines, our society here, to respect all teachers, give support and honor to all teachers.
As a teacher myself, I taught in Ateneo, I think a few sems back.
Wow, matalino ka sobra.
Hindi naman po. Just the right opportunity. Thank you, Wilson, for doing this for the teachers, yes. 'Di ba? Parang sa Chinese lang nga ang Celadon lang before ang nagse-celebrate ng World Teachers Day or Happy Teachers Day.
Honoring teachers, 'di ba?
Exactly. And not one organization did it ever. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Our next question, Uncle Wilson, is a bit more parang retrospective, no?
Yes.
Had you, in your whole life right now, what would you say is the one moment that you are most thankful for? And what would you say is the one moment that you truly want to have changed sana in your past?
That's a very difficult question. Galing mo, ha? Wow. I would have wanted my father not to die when I was 7 years old. And
Exactly.
because and also when my mother passed away, just finished college lang. Yun, that one. Too early, the two of them left. That one. The happiest would be, I usually never run out of things to say. Galing mo, ha? Galing nyo, ha? Ako naman, it doesn't seem a big thing, but as in terms of your interview as a columnist, I remember I was still in college. The first time I was published outside of the school papers, I was so thrilled.
Wow.
I saw my name printed somewhere. I remember I even...
Milestone.
Not only that, I was paid to do something that I love to do.
Exactly.
So I was paid. I even Xerox the check. I remember it wasn't a big check. I even Xerox it in a small Xerox place somewhere in the street. It was like a magical thing na, uy, I could get paid pala for doing something that I love to do. I could not believe it. Yan parang ganyan. And another one pa, my first award when I was in first year college. I was lucky. I won 3 palangka awards in one
college.
Night.
In college?
Yes,
bro. Bro.
You
won it all in college.
Yes, I was amazed. I went there and I won 3 palangka awards in one night. That to me was like a thrill to me. I just wanted to impress my dean and my other teachers. I just joined palangka awards and I luckily won 3 of them that night. And one of those that I met some other famous writers who were older than me in that event. I was so thrilled. But the first one was that check. I could not believe myself na it's possible pala to be paid to do something you love to do.
Yep.
Parang you enjoy doing something, then somebody pays you for it. I could not believe it. Saka it's outside of school paper. Sa school paper, you don't get paid to write things that you like, diba? Suddenly, somebody pays you. I was so thrilled. It's not a big amount of money.
Yep.
It's an incredible, unbelievable feeling na parang, wow.
Parang the world is starting to notice, your contributions.
Yes, parang,
diba?
uy, I am getting paid for something I love to do.
Ganda.
For free.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have to live, syempre, diba? We have to get paid somehow. Pero I'm amazed, mayroon palang ganyan.
Parang you're paid na economically, tapos you learn pa a lot by
and
writing.
You love
exactly.
The process
and you
of
love
writing it.
Exactly.
I love doing it, yes.
Ganda.
We've gotten to know so much about our speaker today. And we're really thankful that we've gotten through all of these experiences, all of these insights on this episode of Off the Record. Uncle Wilson.
Yes, Wilson lang. You can call me Wilson. Nakikiyang ako.
Hopefully the next time we see you, it's in Kamuning Bakery na mismo.
Yes, soon. I invite both of you and all your listeners to pass by. And when you see me, just approach me and say hi to me. I greet and talk to all kinds of people, anyone.
Amazing. Now, if you liked our special series, follow us on Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, and YouTube for exclusive content. That's at the Project Offbeat. If you want to learn more from our guest, you can reach him at his email, wilsonflourish@gmail.com. See you guys again in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you
very
guys.
much. Thank you, Matt and Lance.